May 6th meeting of the Missoula Board of County Commissioners. We'll begin with a land acknowledgement. Missoula County acknowledges that this event takes place in the Aboriginal territories of the Salish and Kalispel people. At this point, would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Violet. And at some point in time, we will actually be back in the Sophie Moise room with a real live flag, which we have been without for the better part of a year now.
What do we think in June?
I'm thinking June is when we will start moving into a hybrid meeting protocol for our public meetings, where some of us will be, in fact, anyone who wants to, will be meeting physically in the Sophie Moise room in the Missoula County Courthouse, and folks who still want to join us virtually will have that option to do so. Let's begin with any public announcements. Are there any public announcements today? Okay, how about any public comment on items not on today's agenda? No takers. Well, our current claims list between April 14th and April 27th by the Commissioner's Office totaled $2,791,471.48. We have 4 public hearings today, all of which deal with budget amendments. I will open up all of those public hearings at this point, and we will begin with a staff report from Amanda Henthorn. And if there are staff members from either the Sheriff's Office, Health Department, or Benefits who would like to comment on any of these, you'll have a chance to do so also. Amanda.
Thank you, Commissioner Strohmeyer, and good afternoon to you both. I have 4 budget amendments today and 3 folks with me and notes from the 4. So I'll start with the Sheriff's Office budget amendment first. This is asking that you adopt a resolution and include revenue and expenditures for a COVID assistance grant for technology that was from the Department of Justice. And the total grant amount was $46,880. All of the expenditures will be covered by grant revenues. And Nadine is here. If you have any questions or want to know a little bit more about what that money was spent on, she can answer those questions for you.
Any questions, Josh or Nadine? Just
give us a paragraph rundown.
Yeah.
Of course. Hello, everybody. So yes, we applied for the grant back of May 2020, and this was used to purchase laptops and other docking stations, things that people could use to work from home, including printers and monitors, things like that, that would just accommodate staffing levels to help keep up with the work demand, which we know never goes away. But we were able to safely work from home and do a work rotation. We had a lot of help with that, and we were recently expended all the funds and closing out the grant very soon.
Thank you. All right. Any public comment on this budget amendment item? Okay. What do you think? Shall we make a motion, Josh?
Yes, I would move we approve this budget amendment.
I will second that. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Next we have a couple. I'm sorry. Someone speaking? Okay. Next we have a couple health department items. Amanda.
All right, so the first one is another COVID technology grant. This one came from the Montana Department of Health and Human Services, Services as part of the Healthy Montana Families program. This was CARES pass-through money that came through that program. There was a total of $6,000, and Kara Hansen couldn't be here with us today, but she asked me to let you know that the money was used to purchase tablets, scanners, and printers for facilitating the home visits program. So as part of Healthy Montana Families, there are trained professionals that go in and visit in homes to help pregnant women and new parents when they're first starting out. And in the past year, home visits weren't particularly practical. So this technology allowed them to still continue that program, but do it remotely in a way that was safe for everyone. And again, this is neutral, and all of the grant expenditures were supported by grant revenues.
What we
Any
like.
questions?
No, it's wonderful.
Okay. Do you want to make a motion on this, Josh?
I would make a motion, we approve this budget amendment as well.
I'll second that. Any further discussion or public comment? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Amanda?
All right, so the next one is again related to COVID funding and from the Montana Department of Health and Human Services. This is through the Public Health Emergency Preparedness Program. It was for a total of $135,115. And it again is neutral in that all grant expenditures are supported by grant revenues. And Cindy Farr, who is our hero, is here to let us know what this money was spent on.
Cindy?
Hi, guys. So this money, as you know, we've spent way more money than just this on COVID, but this particular round of funding was one of the first rounds that we received that was specific to COVID. It was pretty much right away as soon as it was declared a pandemic, and it came through our public health emergency preparedness avenue. And this funding was primarily spent on things like clinic supplies and office supplies and printing and postage and all of the things that we needed in order to actually initially respond to the cases that we had coming in.
Great. Any public comment on this one? Any more questions, Josh?
No, I'm super glad we were able to access this money. And more kudos, Cindy. You've done a great job over last year.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd move we approve this budget amendment.
I'll second that. Further discussion? Seeing none. All in favor? Aye. Thanks, Cindy. Keep up the good work. Okay, moving from the sheriffs to the health department to now benefits. Amanda.
Yes, so this particular budget amendment is asking you to approve expenditures for renovations at the benefits plan building at 438 West Spruce Street. It's expected that there will be rental income of $6,560 from this fiscal year, and the remainder would be coming from cash savings, which will then be replenished with the rent in the next year so that we meet all of our plan fiduciary requirements for the benefits plan while still making sure that the flooring is updated and installed and safe for our new renters. And Erica Grindy is here should you have any questions about this.
Erica, would you like to add anything?
You know, I don't, Dave, you were over there. It's been probably a few years. I understand that Josh was able to make it over there pretty recently. That carpet, I think it's well beyond its useful life. The building's mostly empty, though Superintendent of Schools will be moving in towards the end of this month, but it's just a good time when we don't have a lot of people in those offices to get this project done. And like Amanda said, we plan to have Superintendent of Schools and some of County Attorney staff in there under 2-year lease agreements at a minimum. So there's, you know, that will absolutely pay for this project. So we're not using premium dollars to pay for flooring. I don't want anyone to think that their insurance premiums are paying for this.
So Erica, just a question on the flooring project. Is this covering the building with new carpet?
new carpet, and then we're doing a vinyl plank in the kitchen, copy, restroom areas.
In that main floor, is there hardwood underneath that carpet?
I'm not sure.
I mean, I don't want to throw a wrench in it. We're going to say yes, go do this, but I wonder if it's just worth looking at. If there is real hardwood underneath there, having hardwood and runners and rugs as opposed to wall-to-wall carpet, just thinking that setting and aesthetics matter. And to that end, also, when I was up there, I was concerned that some of the office spaces had really tiny windows, and wonder if, I just imagine putting John Hart in this like closet with a periscope hole and feeling like that's a really mean thing to do. No, this is no criticism at all, and this is a desire to make things better, not to criticize what you're doing, but just to keep an eye on those things. And I'm as one person fully open to spending a little bit more money and making it a better space. And I think we didn't see enhanced productivity and general happiness from being in such a space.
Yeah, so in terms of the hardwood, my concern is it's going to raise our cleaning costs because we'll have to buy, special equipment for that building. And then on top of it, we just have to that building from an ADA perspective is already a bit of a challenge. So adding different levels of flooring is a concern on that main floor. So that would be my concern there. And it's really loud. I mean, I worked over there. So that's the other thing to be mindful of, is just making sure that main floor, there's some sound dampening, but we can look at it when they pull it up. And then in terms of the third floor, I've had the question, if the county attorney's office enters into a long-term agreement and we have a payback schedule for the structural renovations that it will take for, large gables to be put in, we could do that, but it's the same thing. It's spending those insurance premiums. We just can't do it.
I would never advocate for that. I'm not in one slightest bit saying we should use insurance premiums. There will be other sources of funding to expand the size of a window. And it wouldn't necessarily have to be dormers and gables. It could really just be a bigger window.
Okay.
Give it
Yeah,
some
some of the offices we've looked at have skylights, so I'm just not sure how we.
I was thinking about an office I was in, might have been on the third floor, could have been on the second, but it was on the north end of the building, and the window in the north wall was like this super thing, and it was just replaced with a conventional size window. I'm not talking about altering skylights. And on the flooring, I mean, I'm thinking like runners and hardwood floor, and in terms of cleaning supplies, it's like a broom and a dustpan and a vacuum. So I don't know that we have to go like to new levels, but it's your building. I'll stay out of it, but I want to have one voice out there saying that aesthetics matter, and creating a really nice space is going to generate greater levels of happiness and productivity.
Well, and make that two voices, because at some point we might want to divest ourselves, or your program area might want to divest itself, Erica, of this building. And I think generally speaking, buyers are all about hardwood floors, and maybe less so about carpet, unless of course you're putting gold shag in. That is all the rage. So we
aren't looking at that, but we'll see what's underneath the carpet. I mean, we haven't pulled it, so I have no idea what's underneath there. But my main concern is Garden City they don't have the ability to do the like waxing and refinishing that will need to be done probably annually over there, with as much traffic as we see on that main floor. I
would say runners and rugs where there's a lot of foot, so you don't have to do an annual. And I feel like I'm going out of my lane here, so I'll stop.
Oh, no, it's totally fine. Yeah, I mean, and we can look at upstairs. My understanding is the county attorneys are looking at 2 years. If it becomes a long-term deal, I mean, the office you're talking about is actually where I worked when I worked over there. So I know exactly the window that we're talking about. So we just need to look at it, because there will be masonry work and all of that to figure out.
Well, if you look at it and come back to us with the expectation that there may be other ways, there certainly are other ways to fund this, then it's coming out of premiums. And if this is increasing a value in an asset that we then sell, this isn't money down a hole.
No, that's fair.
And Josh and I volunteer to wax the floors if necessary. So
I was this
Work comp doesn't volunteer you to wax the floors.
we do have facilities folks on staff that might be able to, we rent a sander and they spend one day sanding the floors and another day putting finish down, and we're all right. It doesn't have to be the highest expense paid, and we certainly don't have to be refinishing and waxing on an annual basis, and we don't have to buy wool runners either. I think there's a lot to be gained aesthetically without a tremendous expense incurred.
Yeah, no, we'll see what's underneath there. I mean, yeah, I know that house is added on to a couple of times, so I'll take pictures and let you know what it looks like.
Okay, keep us posted. Any public comment on this item, this budget amendment? Any other questions, Josh?
No, I think I beat that dead horse. I'm sorry, Erica. I didn't mean to go too far there. All right, yeah, I would move we approve this budget amendment.
I will second that. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Okay, who thought that carpets and hardwood would be so lively today in today's meeting? So,
well, thank you very much for all of the budget amendments, and enjoy the last few moments of your meeting.
We will. Okay, is there any other business to come before the commission today? Okay, going once, going twice. This might be a record. We are adjourned at 2:20 in the afternoon.
Fantastic. Thanks, Dave. Thanks.
You bet. Bye.